Hey friends, welcome to Andy's Audio Crap, where we talk about audio gear in all of its glory. Today we're going to be talking about speakers. And if you have the right speakers, I have the right speakers, and I'm going to use my research to show you what speakers and how to set them up. And let's just roll into it.
This video's sponsor is Andy's Audio Crap on eBay, where you'll find used parts, new old stock, kits, and occasionally gear.
I'm making this video because on my last video, a lot of people called bull monarchy on Soundstage. And really, honestly, this is kind of the first step you're going to want to evaluate to get good Soundstage is your space and your speakers. Let's dig in.
This is going to be mostly a voiceover for this video, so let's dig into it. Here's some illustrations that I'm going to be showing you here in just a little bit. I'm going to explain what the speaker is, what the area the speaker needs, but first, we got to talk about diffusion. The absence of diffusion is echo. Right? You can create sound absorption materials, but you don't want that. You want diffusion. You want that sound to hit an object and diffuse, disperse. You don't want it to echo directly, but in general, you want it there. Okay, so this is like the key. This is what most people who do not get good soundstage are missing. They might have great speakers. They might have the wrong speakers for the room, which we're going to cover that. But they are missing proper diffusion and placement of that diffusion. Now, there are times that you don't want diffusion. You want to encourage the echo. Let's talk about when that might be.
This is a gathering room where we bring family for holidays. We play pool in here, there's a pool table under here. We eat in here. We do lots of stuff in here. Arts and crafts, Legos, whatever. Lots of stuff. Anyway, I want the sound to come from everywhere. I don't want it to sound like it's coming from over here, although this is where I have the speaker set up. But there's no treatment on any wall. I allow for the echo to happen, and that way it sounds empty, hollow. It comes from everywhere. The music has no particular position. Yeah, it is stronger on this side of the room if you're sitting right here. Anywhere else in the room, it sounds like it's coming from everywhere, and that's what I wanted. I wanted people to enjoy Christmas music everywhere, not in depth, not in stereo, just music in the background.
The first speaker that we're going to talk about is all cone. This is like maybe just a single speaker. It's just a cone. It can be many speakers, like a kabuki speaker, and it's got 20 different cones in it. But they're all the same material, and they're all shaped as a cone inward. Now, there's really good reasons to do cone. Number one is just cheap. It's simple. The other thing is the tonal character between two cones, if they're made out of the same material, is easy to handle with that crossover. The handoff is smooth. Usually the characteristics of these speakers are nice and laid back and mellow. It's really hard to get these speakers to come up to really high frequencies, although there are exceptions. I'm not going to argue that there are exceptions, but it's generally you have to pay up to get that high frequency at the right decibel, like balanced. Anyways, very room dependent for imaging, and that you don't have much directional control. My favorites is the JBL L26s. I love those things. And then there's close seconds, AR and KLH. These are classic 50s, 60s, 70s era speakers that just are iconic. They're sought after. They're sought after for a reason. Now, the room setup for a cone in general is a small to a medium-sized room with 4 walls. You need the walls, and you need those walls to have appropriate diffusion. In this illustration and all the rest of the illustrations, diffusion is represented with orange. You'll see here I have orange on all 4 walls. I also have black, which those are areas for the optimal positioning of openings in the bedroom, the 4-walled room. You want a door on, towards the back walls on either side or in the front. And, if it's in the front, well, I don't know. I've never seen a setup like that, but that's an optimal place to put the door. And then hang diffusion on the back of it. Anyways, you get the point. You don't have to have them really far off the wall either way, but you do want an equilateral triangle where the listener's head is equilateral triangle with the speakers. So these, listening room with these type of speakers can be a little cumbersome to set up, but once you get it, and it sounds really good. Next speaker is going to be cones and domes. I spend about 10 hours a day at this desk. I have a set of speakers up here, and these are speakers as well. The desk is made out of speakers, literally. And I'm going for stereo here, not depth. I can't go deep enough. I can't get those speakers far enough away from me to actually get depth in this area. They do sound really good though. By the way, these are cones and domes. We're going to talk about those here in just a second. Cones and domes are really super good at handling stereo. They have a very wide dispersion of the highs, very focused soundstage, and they're forgiving with the room placement. They are absolutely the most popular type of speaker through the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. You start to see in the early 2000s the emerging of waveguides on the dome, and we'll get into that in just a second. The thing is though, with these, kind of like with the all cones, you just don't have much directional control, so they become fairly room sensitive. But oh my god, there's some iconic ones of the cones and domes. Iconic examples. ADSs. Oh my god, these things sound, if you haven't heard a set of these and you can find somewhere that has them, it really doesn't matter whether they got the room set up well or not, as long as they're spaced good and you're in the right spot. These things, like a trumpet on these, is just to die for good. Same with these Yamahas here. I mean, they're just so fabulous. They're just really, really good speakers. And Bostons are my personal favorite. I have a pair of Bostons that I use to do my testing, and here I'll give you a video of that. This is my testing area. When I repair something, get something in, I just want to make sure it's working right. Left and right channels are doing their thing. Put it right here, left speaker, right speaker, hook it up, listen. I'm not looking for depth. Setting these things up is almost like a sound hall. You want the sound shooting down the length of the room. You want it to cross that beam of sound across behind the listener. And you want proper diffusion breaks, almost the length of the sidewalls, about to the listening position. You want behind the listener to be an open space, and you do want some kind of diffusion setting back just before that cross point or right at that cross point. If you go to Skylabs and you've watched the video of them setting up their listening studio, or his personal listening studio, he does have a shelf where he's placed his records behind the listening area, and there's a walking space between that shelf and the listening area, and that acts just like this. Really good setup. He will get super good soundstage in that area. I almost guarantee it. Next up is the cone and waveguide. I put these in the same category because they're basically cousins, but they're not. Like, the differences between the waveguide is usually just a normal speaker, and it's usually normally a dome. And it just has a directed guide to its sound, so it can focus the sound in on a specific target. But the horn is just a different animal altogether, but the goal is the same. It's focusing that sound. But anyways, I'm getting off topic here. The horn is usually exceptionally sensitive. Like a 15-watt horn is going to be like killer loud. And so balancing a horn a horn with a cone is really tough. Hats off to Klipsch, because they keep doing it. Some of their classic speakers. Anyways, I'm going to go back to our topic here. Where they hit it, right? these things are super good at tricky areas and large spaces. You see waveguides becoming the most popular type of speaker right now because they're so good at tricky spaces. They can target that sound in, and it doesn't matter what walls are around you, as long as the diffusion treatment on those walls is good. Usually you're golden with a set of waveguide speakers. Now, let's talk about the speakers themselves, though. So, Klipsch, gotta mention the Klipsch. My favorite's the Cornwall. They're huge. You got to have a big room. But man, if you tow those in at your listening position, they will blow your freaking mind. And the same with these Cantons. The Cantons, holy crap! I have a video on a set of Cantons, and holy crap, I've never heard anything quite like them. All right. Anyways, Pioneers. I forgot what model these Pioneers are, but the point of these is that if you go look these up, just Google image search them, and they're horn, but they're also waveguide. So the horn is a normal horn, but the woofer is waveguided. I could not find a picture of these bare that wasn't copyrighted, so you got an eBay picture here. These recently sold. They sold for several $1,000s, and they were labeled as junk, which means non-working. Anyways, room set up for a set of cone, waveguide, or horn. You get the point. I'm stuttering now. Crossing right at the listener. You want them aimed right at the listener. You do want a little bit of space behind the listener if there's a wall there, because you want that to diffuse immediately once it hits that, or just continue on. Okay, so if there's a wall behind the listener, put a little bit of space between the listener and the wall, put diffusion back there. If it's a wide open space, no problem. You got it. You're good. So let's go on to the next section, which is flat panel. Now, flat panel are the trickiest speaker, but for some reason, people are just absolutely, just fascinated with Magnepan. I've had so many people that I've met that bought Magnepan that said in the showroom they sounded great. When I got them home, I couldn't get them to sound that same way. Excuse me. The flat panels, they are absent the box usually, right? So there's no box coloration, and you'd be amazed at what a box does for a speaker. It does create kind of a cavity type of sound that when you have like an open baffle speaker or one of these flat panel speakers, that coloration goes away. And it's very interesting, that sound difference. And if you're used to open baffle or you're used to flat panel, when you hear somebody's box speaker that's a big box speaker like a Cornwall, you're like, wow, it sounds like a box. Anyways, you can spot it once you know it. Voices and mids, super strong. And the image off of a panel there's a reason why they're sought after. And there's a reason why they're difficult, though, because they're extremely space sensitive, very limited bass. And then on top of that, they never get loud. You can push one, but you're going to ruin it, right? You can't. They're meant for like mild listening. Definitely not a loud speaker. Some good examples of these, of course, are your Martin Logans and your Magnepan. I put Sony in here because just about every big brand tried at some point to do some kind of flat panel option. Sony put a little itty flat panel on here. Might have been a ribbon tweeter, but anyways, you get the point. They tried. There's many examples. All you got to do is like look up electrostat, and you'll see all kinds of brands tried electrostat. Setting these up, you've got to have a medium to large room. I would say larger the better. Not 30 by 30 though. You want it symmetrical, and you want small diffusers. You do not want large diffusers, because these things are like super targeted, and you want diffusers behind them too, because they're throwing sound out both sides, right? And throwing mids out both sides. So you want that diffusion With these is what I would say. You got to pull them out from the wall really, really far, and you got to try every arrangement, and the last one you try will be the one that works. And the reason it's the last one you try, because when you get it, bam, you got it. It's beautiful. This just is a general slide to show you where, the speaker meets the room. Cones only. I just anymore, I don't tell anybody to get cone unless they really are after that nostalgic, and then I'm just like, go get the L26s. Cones and domes, big time. Go towards the Bostons if you can find a set, the ADSs, cones and waveguide. Go to any big box store, they got cone and waveguide and horn right now. It's just because everybody's house is so freaking weird now. I mean, it's no longer a traditional ranch style, 4 walls in every room type of home. We just don't have those anymore. And even my house, it's like weirdest ass layout ever. And I have to be very intentional with the speakers I buy and where I put them in the room and how I treat that room. Flat panel, listening room, baby. Get a listening room if you want a set of those. Don't buy them otherwise. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, listening, and here are my parting gifts or comments. This is an intentionally built listening space. It is built to have Soundstage. It doesn't matter what speakers I set up here in the front. It's just a matter of towing them in to the right angle and you will get Soundstage.